opposition notwithstanding, and it's hard to separate a lot of the performance from the opposition we saw today, and they are the weakest side that the Lions will play over the next couple of weeks. Good, bad, indifferent?
No, I think generally, they'll be pretty happy with what they put out. You have to remember that some of these guys have never played together before. They've only had a few training sessions to try and nail down those combinations, whether it be line-out calls, whether it be different variations of attack plays, the defensive shape. So until you're in a game situation, you don't really know how that's going to go. So I think the big thing for them is that there was no injuries. When they wanted to, you could see the Lions put pace onto the ball and really obviously put the Stigma Lions under pressure. Completely different opposition they're going to find as this tour goes on, but I think they'll definitely be pleasantly happy.
Shane, just a broad point. To what extent are the Lions keeping their game plan or their strategy, or certainly set-piece moves, I would think, but just the approach that they're going to take in the test matches, to what extent are they putting that on show on an afternoon like this evening so that the South Africans can sit down and look at the tape? Or is it all very much, lads, keep things back?
They'll definitely be keeping stuff back, but they won't, I think, be developing a game plan for each single team that they play against in this tour. It will be with those first tests in mind, and they don't have the opportunity to try out moves that are going to be in the test series at some other time. They have to do it here. They have to try out their combinations. They have to be moving a certain type of direction and a certain type of style, I think. Otherwise, expecting a team that is a scratch team anyway to implement a type of game plan for the first time, to unveil it in the first time in the first test, I think is a bit too much to ask. And yes, it means the opposition will see some of the traits that and some of the way you're playing, and they maybe come up with a game plan to diffuse that. But they'll certainly be holding back on some of the types of moves while within that broader structure that you will see in the first time and maybe first, second or third test.
Yeah.
I think that the really interesting thing is that everybody knows how South Africa defends. They're big men, they're aggressive, they come up hard off the line. And I think, Gregor Townsend is going to have to drive this a huge amount with his players. What sort of game do they want to play? So we saw in the first game against Japan, the Lions use a lot of the driving maul, a lot of Bundyaki hitting lines close off the line out. This evening we saw little variations with Hamish Watson as a +1 in the line out. Overthrows in the line out, as Shane was talking about there, they're the really interesting things to see how the Lions are going to go and progress in this tour, and that will be a big part down to Gregor Townsend and how he can drive that and the players themselves.
And do you think they're on the right track trying that stuff?
I think it depends on who they go for, obviously, and the big debate of who's going to start the tests. I think we're still far too early. We've already seen there's been cry-offs, and there will be further cry-offs come the first test. But they definitely have different ways that they can play. I would believe Farrell being in there on the basis of a few little moments this evening. You can see, I think, the way that the Lions can unlock that South African aggressive defence.